Welcome to the 10th edition of the Kennel NRL podcast. Glad to have you all back on. Such a big week of footy that we've had. A really great one for Canterbury fans, a somber one for St George fans who are currently having a wake after today's loss. Yes, we are shooting the Kennel podcast early. Elmo is currently still in the Far East, and I will be heading off to sunny Far North Queensland in the coming days. So we didn't want to miss a edition of the NRL podcast. My co-host as usual, Papi Sua, glad to have you back.
Thank you for having me, Dibbo.
How'd you see this weekend?
Oh, it was an up and down weekend, but it was good footy. I can't wait to talk about it.
Good. We'll start off with the review of the round that just passed. Our first one was the Cronulla Sharks 44, who pummeled the flat North Queensland Cowboys 6. How did you see this one?
Wow. Cowboys got to pull their pants. They're not playing normal footy as Cowboys usually, as same as last year. Sharks just came and just ran it over, and just that's what we all expected, I think.
Was there any highlights in the game for you on this one?
Yeah, there was one when Kyle Phelps palmed Ronaldo on the corner.
Oh, you mean Mulatalo?
Mulatalo palmed the hell out of him. I'm not really a big fan of him, but palmed him.
So what happened? Mulatalo ended up 10 rows back or something?
Yeah, he went to another world, but that was a big palm.
I think Mulatalo got the last laugh in the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of boys been going at him, but he needs to pull his pants as well.
You know, this is, as a Twitter personality, he's also got his own podcast, Southo Dan, if you're watching. More the sweeter for him. He's currently having a biff on Twitter with a notable Cowboys fan. So this one would have been really sweet for him. What do you think the Cowboys are going wrong? I mean, they're just getting towelled up. They currently sit second last at the moment.
I think it's the pairing and the halves. I think they're not really sinking in place, especially with the forwards and the backs. There's just nothing happening there.
So Chad Townsend and Tom Dearden and the magic's worn off, has it?
Yeah, I feel like they're losing it at the moment. They're not connecting as usual.
I think look, Cronulla moved on Chad Townsend before last year. For a few years, he actually wasn't offering really anything. He wasn't really keeping the opposition guessing. He was pretty much just footy that the opposition could sit back and not feel threatened by.
I think Townsend's too focused on his YouTube of his vlogs. Apparently he vlogs every game. Yeah, it is harsh, but he's vlogging a lot more than his passing game.
So expect him to start moving on. But look, another concerning. I know the attack didn't produce anything, but the defense there has leaked in 44 points.
That's ridiculous, especially at NRL level.
The defense has been leaking in points. Something's amiss there. I think Dean Young is the defense coach there, and I know St George has been interviewing him. I mean, it's not a good look for him, especially if he's applying for that job.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
It's something I guess Dragons fans will be keeping a note, especially the game that just passed, which we'll get to later in detail. The next game we had was a Friday night game. Parramatta 43 made a mockery of Newcastle's defense 12.
I'm sorry, but for Kalen Ponga to be paid that much money, missing that many tackles, it's ridiculous. Newcastle fans, I don't know what you're saying, but it's not good. It's not a good sign what they're looking at, but he needs to pull his pants as well.
Look, I think from the stats already, he made 11 tackles, 10 missed tackles. Look, he's just come back from repeated HIAs. I'm going to put this on the coach. I think Ponga's lacking confidence at the moment. I think at the moment in defence, having him defend at the back, and I'm sure you can put the fullback into the line. Their fullback actually defends really well.
Into the attacking line?
Yeah, in the defensive line.
Oh, in the defensive line, yeah.
In defence, have Kalen Ponga at fullback because that's his normal position previously till he gets his confidence back. His defence was a shambles. His communication with his teammates wasn't good. Look, matter of fact, his teammates were also in shambles as well, but he didn't miss a lot of tackles. And, I mean, the Eels had well over 10 line breaks. It was just line break after line break. I expected Newcastle to do a lot better in this game.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And, look, they made Parramatta better than what they actually have been all year. So I'll put that down to the coach. He probably should move Ponga back to fullback in defence. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, Clint Gutho played a blinder that game.
Look, Gutho, I don't think has a bad game ever.
Yeah,
I don't think he's Mr. Reliable.
But I think he shut down all that talk that they were talking about earlier about replacing the fullback. I don't know if you remember, but
look, it could be a plan. I think I know the Warriors want Dylan Brown. to go to their club. I know there's been a lot of talk behind that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Gutho can be a ball player easy, so he can easily slot into that 5/8 position.
Yep.
So maybe that's the plan. Move him into 5/8 and on the hunt for a high-quality fullback or a fullback that's coming through.
That's a possibility.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, it could be.
And the next game we had was meant to be a Friday night blockbuster. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be that way. Trelmit and South Sydney ran right over the Brisbane Broncos, 32-6 away from home.
I predicted it was close. I think you guys remember. I think Broncos or Rabbits will win by 2, but they just got annihilated.
Yeah, I had the Broncos winning a close one.
Yeah.
Looks like Payne Haas is a massive loss.
It is,
Premier front row in the game made a huge difference. I actually thought the Broncos would still be okay because I still can't predict Souths. They're either hot or cold.
Yeah.
And I thought, look, they still got Tom Flegler there and Carrigan and the other troops, and I thought they'll hold them off. But no, Haas.
Do you remember when you said Farmworth was going to be the main?
Yeah.
They shut him down good.
Campbell Graham had another good game.
Yeah.
I know there's talk about him going in New South Wales, maybe on the wing.
Yeah.
It's just that in the centres you got Turbo and you got Latrell. They're just absolute weapons, and they're not going to play him at fullback unless there's an injury.
So. Yeah.
Look, Campbell might come in if there's injuries in the centres.
I don't think he'll be in there. No way.
Look, if Josh Adokar doesn't come back in time, I can see him on the wing.
Yeah.
Look, he's a finisher. He's an out-and-out finisher. His defence is solid.
Yeah, he's very solid.
He makes moves in attack. He knows where to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. The last podcast you said Rabbitohs are going to be close to the finals. I think you're right. They're starting.
I just keep
here.
thinking, are they going to make the grand final? And I keep thinking, and now they've signed Wyden as well. And
wow,
they got a good team. The coach is Jason Dimitri. Things are flying well for him. Yeah. I love Jason.
Yeah,
he used to be my brother's junior footy coach whilst he was playing himself.
Is John Morrow still the assistant coach there?
I
think he still is. Yeah.
I know Hornby's one of them, Ben Hornby. So things are going good for Souths at the moment.
Wow.
How did you see Trell when he confronted Reynolds?
Absolutely legend. I loved every single bit. To get in Reynolds' head, wow. And he retaliated. Wow, it was a great scene.
Brisbane's attack was lacking. No Ezra Mann to partner up Reynolds in the halves.
Yeah, I think that's why Reynolds got a bit irritated. There was nothing.
I think Brisbane were inquiring with West Tigers full time if they want to take back Jock Madden. I was just taking the piss out of him. But yeah, that was quite unlike Brisbane this year. I mean, I don't want to see him slide down the ladder. I like to see him continue the good form.
I think this is just Brisbane. They play good for like 3-4 weeks and then they go down.
Well, that's all right. If they're doing it, if they're losing once every 5 matches, I'm sure
that's all right. Yeah,
it's a good reset they need to refocus again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they do get their players back next week that we're missing.
Yeah. All of them?
Ezra and Haas, yes, they do both.
That's
back.
A big.
Yeah, that's a big addition.
Big boost.
Next game we had was Canberra, who got home. Should have done it easy, but were lucky to get home in the end. 31 to the Dolphins 30. I actually thought the drama surrounding Wyden during the week would be a distraction. But got home, they slotted the field goal. Jamal Fogarty got that one in extra time. Bit of controversy before that. There was a knock-on that went missed, and that could have given Dolphins good field territory to perhaps knock that drop goal in.
Canberra should not have came back. Sorry. Cliff should not have came back. What a comeback. Yeah. Same as last week. And now they come back, they were down by, I think, 14 or 16 points.
They're starting slow. So I think Wayne will address that this week. He won't let that go on for too long.
Not for too long,
He's too good of a coach to let that happen.
Is that their strong side in, the Cliffs?
Yeah, they've almost got their full squad, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and Wyden was running the ball hard. He had a point to prove, and I thought he did it well.
He did it well, yeah.
We did see him break down emotionally post-game. It's hurting him to leave, and then Ricky Stewart in the post-game presser also got emotional and shed a tear as well.
He loves shedding a tear, that one.
And I just thought, geez, if you're crying that you're leaving and you're crying that he's leaving, then don't leave.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's happened.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who Ricky tries to replace him with. I think Canberra's they can pluck talent out of their local nursery.
They've got a good talent there, yeah.
They've got a few good young players coming through. Maybe, who knows, maybe Xavier Savage will end up in the halves.
Yeah,
they'll manage to get someone. If not there, from Queensland.
They will,
They've got good contacts in Queensland, especially in the South Slogan area. I think it used to be their theatre club. So they will get someone.
Yeah.
Canberra always manages to unearth someone. So I'm sure they'll get a good replacement for Jack Wyden. Probably not on his level in the first year, but after a few years. I reckon they'll have someone up there.
Absolutely.
The next game, the Manly Sea Eagles, who were legless without Turbo Tom 10. upset by the Gold Coast Titans 26. I thought Gold Coast deserved this win.
You think so?
Yeah, look, I just think Manly without Turbo.
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought they were lucky to get home against West Tigers the previous week.
Yep.
I mean, if they're going to keep missing Turbo or teams shut down Turbo, Manly won't make the 8, just like what we saw last year.
Yep.
So I know they were before this round, they were sitting second on the ladder. I do expect them to start sliding down. I still think they've had an easy draw and a favourable one. I think they're overachieving at the moment.
Who's that? Who's their pairing with Cherry Evans? Young fella, yeah.
Look, at the moment they can't seem to settle. I mean, and look, Josh Schuster, I know he's had some dramas during the week. He got into a fight with one of the fringe first graders.
Oh, wow.
I think Dean Madison, brother of Ryan Madison. Seabold said it's been blown out of proportion. Some spy for the media, I think he's blowing it out of proportion. Maybe said there was punches thrown.
I personally know Schuster. He's not that kind of person to just start trouble like that, unless something comes across.
My issue here is things like this happen quite often. Why do they have to go out into the media, especially it's just a non-event? I mean, you get it in a lot of workplaces, you get it in a lot of sports teams. Punches do get thrown. It's emotions, disagreements being let out. I don't know why. I don't know why they have to make such a big issue out of it. And then, you know, people come in and start throwing shade on players or putting players down. I believe Bob Fulton's daughter, Christy Fulton, used to be involved with the club, came out and I think she was screenshotted on social media writing something about Schuster, about his diet, about who he hangs out with, you know, and just the distractions and the management he's got around him for his demise or not performing up to his standards. I think she's blaming his diet and a range of other things for his injuries as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Schuster's a brilliant player. I still think, look, honestly, I know he wants to play 5'8". Yep. I just think he's grown into a lock.
Schuster was a weapon during SG Ball Hammats. I don't know if
he still is a weapon.
Yeah, he's absolutely a gun, and I think he'll come back, bounce back stronger. He lost all that weight. I think he'll get back onto it.
I mean, he could play even he could play in a few positions. I don't think he has to focus solely on 5'8".
Yeah,
he can be more of a utility.
I loved him at second row though. He was killing it last year back.
Yeah, I think he's more. Look, he's a ball playing second row or ball playing hands. Forward or put him in the centres.
Yeah.
They get Cooper Johns to cover.
He's good. Yeah.
I know there's talk about Kyle Flanagan coming across. There was reports. News, there was reports that it was confirmed, but I mean, Manly come out and said nothing's been signed. I know Phil Good's very good at throwing everyone off. He could be right. I mean, he did speak highly about Flanagan playing hooker in reserves and having a good game. We'll see what happens eventually. It's in the next couple of days or a week. I mean, if Flanagan's going to go play under his father there, I think he'll go well because previously at Cronulla he did play well.
Yep.
I mean, father and son combinations generally work well. I haven't seen it really work not well before.
Yeah.
So we'll find out in the coming days. Next game we got, upset maybe of the season. Penrith 8, who are the back-to-back premiers, against the winless West Tigers till now, who haven't won a game in about a year, haven't won a game all season. The Tigers got up 12 tries. 12 points to 8, my apologies. Key moment in this game, David Nofaluma joins the Centurion Club. Less than 0.1% of NRL players have hit that milestone. 100 tries, amazing. Well done.
Well done also.
Not many people in this world can say they've hit 100 tries in the NRL. Penrith blew some tries. They were missing a lot of forwards.
Yeah, they were, yeah. I remember...
it's going to hurt him, this one.
It will.
It's going to hurt him.
I remember watching this game. No, I wasn't watching. I was at the cinemas, and then it popped up on my newsfeed that West Tigers beat Penrith. What a defense the last 25 minutes by West Tigers to hold it out. I think they scored the first half, I think the first 10 minutes, and then they came back and they just won it. Annihilated the Penrith in the middle, and good for them.
So, look... It meant a lot to the players. They went basically ballistic at full time with the celebrations. Coruscant was fantastic.
It was like they won a premiership. Did you see it?
Yeah, he was jumping up and down. I thought, geez, that's like when he won a title.
Exactly.
The forwards for West Tigers was sensational. David Clemmer and Tua Kamano.
Yeah, he was good.
Had a brilliant game.
What about the footwork on them? Did you see the footwork?
Oh, yeah. Look, Clemmer was having such a game, I thought. It started making me question, well, this guy hasn't been chosen in State of Origin the last few years.
You reckon?
I mean, his form has never really been off.
No,
It's never
no.
been fully explained why he didn't get chosen.
Mm.
Stefano was fantastic.
Played good.
The backline for the backline for West Tigers did scramble well. They had a good game. The centers, the wingers. That fullback, Jerome Buller,
Yeah.
his defense is sensational.
Amazing defense.
His attack's great. He's a confident player. He did 2 try savers that dislodged the ball. Great find for the West Tigers. We're going to start seeing a resurgence, especially in the Magic round. We'll come up to that later as to why. Next game we had, it was across the ditch in New Zealand. The Warriors, they were missing a lot of players.
Good on the Roosters for holding the Warriors, especially at
Mount Smart.
Exactly.
They held them scoreless 14-0. There was a few crucial mistakes by the ref. Look, the Warriors I thought could have done better.
It was raining hard.
Yeah, it was tough conditions.
Very
Look,
tough,
credit to the Roosters. They did get battered last week and held on grimly. They came away here 14-0. That's a good win.
I'll be very happy. Well,
They kept them scoreless and they still managed to cross the line twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good win.
Very
Joey
good win.
Joey Manu doing well at 5'8".
He's just
I don't think we'll see Sam Walker there again unless they get some injuries.
yeah.
It's not looking good for Sam Walker.
I think he will ask for a transfer. The family's not happy apparently.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later. Right after we do the reviews on a few topics before we get into the previews.
Yep.
Last game of the round. I don't know why they're calling this a blockbuster, but then I understand why because they're both towards the bottom. The Canterbury Bulldogs, 18, missing about 10 first graders, and the St George Dragons. Or the St George Illawarra Dragons. Sorry, I won't insult the St George Dragons like that because they wouldn't lose a game like this. The St George Illawarra Dragons, 16. Canterbury only got up by 2.
Yep.
I thought they deserved to win by 3 or 4 tries. Literally from the get-go, I felt something wrong with St George here. They were getting piggybacks from the refs. They were getting favourable calls by the refs. They were not offering anything in attack. In the first 3 or 4 minutes, they got repeated set on the Canterbury line, did not even threaten them, not once. Didn't even look like stretching Canterbury in defence. Canterbury were just doing it with ease.
With ease, yeah.
And then, Canterbury at halftime were up 10-4. And Canterbury, if they had lost this game, they should have honestly punished themselves with 50 laps around the oval.
Yeah, okay.
Because before halftime, they lost the ball 3 times with their try line becking.
They should have won a lot more than that.
Yeah, they should have won by a lot more. I thought they should have won by 3 or 4
Dragons
tries.
were disgusting.
18-16. I know it was 3 tries apiece. There was also the Corey Waddell in this incident where he went to the sin bin. I know he held on for so long. I know they say it's a professional foul. I don't think that was a professional foul incident in the sense that Canterbury's defensive line was already set. It was a one-on-one rake. Dragons were about 40 metres out. If anything, it was just for me, it was just a penalty and not a sin bin because I didn't think St George were a threat to score. Not in that tackle, not in the next 2 tackles either.
Oh, just from that? No.
It was a one-on-one still, and it was still conjecture as to whether he stole it one-on-one.
Yep.
And I know Lomax was niggling him on the ground as well. So I thought it was an overreaction by the ref. And I think that's been the course across the round. And matter of fact, the last few rounds, there's just been some severe overreactions with the sin bins. Again, I think either the refs are under instructions or they just don't know what to do anymore.
Yep. And just spill it.
Yeah, just let it go. Before halftime, we saw a forearm. It was a dog shot, in my opinion,
by Reynolds. Yeah,
by Josh Reynolds on the back of Tyrell Sloan.
Absolute dirty
dog shot, low of the act.
Grub.
That deserves to be a sin bin. That guy is an absolute grub.
Yep.
It's funny. Canterbury fans were giving him credit. Oh, he had a great game. Guy was garbage in the whole first half.
Why is he carrying him?
Dropped the ball with the line wide open. If he was even bothered, Taveta Pangai Jr. is known to offload. Follow him. Instead, he's just standing there watching. Pangai, okay, maybe shouldn't have pushed that pass.
Yep.
Pushed the pass. Reynolds is still passing. Lomax latched onto that ball. I think went about 60 centimetres, found his winger, who then scored. So he cost them a try in defence. And then at halftime, he apparently had been niggling the ref throughout the first half.
Yep.
He didn't say much at halftime, but the fact that he kept going on with it and the ref just lost his marbles, called the captain over and said he's on his last warning. Otherwise, he's not sin bin, he's actually gone. The guy's actually a liability for the team.
Yep.
I thought Canterbury could have done even better. Look, the good thing is they had Carl Alawaipu on the bench. About time, Carl Alawaipu
he came on?
He came on.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. He was confident.
Yeah.
He stood up in defence. He stood up in attack. He didn't overplay his hand. He didn't let the team down. He was everywhere. He's a confident kid. He's got this aura about him. He's fantastic. Thumbs up. Big future ahead of him.
Big future, yeah.
Great move. Great. He got it right. Serraldo, great timing. There's a few other kids I know they will blood this year.
Yeah.
So big times ahead for Canterbury, who are now 4 and 5.
Oh, well done, yeah.
You know, so 4 and 5 for the season. They're almost 50%. I think they're 2 points outside the top 8.
Yeah.
And this is missing literally 3/4 of their first grade squad. Jake Avarilla ran right on the St. George right-hand side.
I didn't know he was that quick.
He's always been quick. He was just slimmer before.
I did not know he was that quick.
And you know what? They better not forget he can play fullback, he can play wing, and he can play in your halves.
What a signing.
He's a fantastic player. Braden Burns on one leg, ran right on that right side as well.
Yeah, why?
Matter of fact, you can almost nominate those two to be your man of the match.
I really reckon 18 for Cup for New South Wales?
No, look, there's a lot of players still ahead of him.
Yeah. What about just?
He's a weapon, though.
Just as a train on, I think he will have him.
Look, they might put him in that 23-man squad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's deserving of it. I was reviewing the game before we started the podcast. Hayes Perham relieved the forward so many times by taking repeated hit-ups.
Yep.
And a great game by Hayes Perham. Matter of fact, the forwards were brilliant as well for Canterbury. Tavita Pangai, he offers a lot of energy. He was marshalling the forwards to go forward. Raymond Fatala-Mariner stood up. Jacob Preston on that left side absolutely caused havoc for the Dragons' defence.
Yep.
I mean, there's just positives all across the park. Like, where do you put any negative? They're just sensational. I mean, Ockenball was great off the bench.
He
took a bomb.
Well, yep.
He almost scored. I got a mate, his name's Finch, who's always been critical of Ockenball, but, I mean, even he's turned his opinion around. I mean, he had some good stuff to say about Ockenball and Olamoti. Olamoti was great in attack.
Yeah.
Done a lot better in defence. His kid's he's only a teenager at the moment, so his defence will grow.
Ockenball's have improved so much. I'm so happy how he's playing. He's a good mate of mine. He's playing so well. He's coming off the bench. He can even start.
You know how much of a plus it is to have him in that side. I know Brandon Burns got injured early. They thought he was going to see out the game. And then everyone's like, we got Ockenball on the bench. He was just slotting on the wing.
How good is that?
I mean, it's just brilliant because literally he hasn't had to add any size on to play in the forwards.
Yeah.
He's still quick anyway. He's going to grow more and more playing in the centre of the park.
6'5" already, I think, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, size-wise, he's just going to grow more and more once he gets used to playing in the centre of the park, like used to it once again.
Yeah, he will. He will get better and better.
Yeah, he'll just get better and better and better. They've got a lot of things right this year, Canterbury.
I mean, they chose the right coach this time.
Yeah, look, they wouldn't, if they didn't have such an injury crisis, they wouldn't be sitting 4 and 5. I'd say they'd probably be sitting 5 and 4 or 6 and 3 at the moment.
Trent's probably like, wow, look at the big improvement. But,
I know he'll probably come and say, they didn't give me the same players or whatnot, but I guess...
Probably the salary cap. They always blame the salary cap, you know how they do.
Yeah, it's happened now, and I guess the players have grown. It is what it is.
A lot of Dogs fans are excited, especially Red. I think
Elmo.
Yeah.
Elmo was actually tuning in from Japan. I believe he was bombarding our director every 30 seconds about the score update, who's playing good, how many of our fans are at the game. It's just, you name it. What shirt is Sorala wearing today? It wouldn't stop.
He's asking a lot about Reynolds.
About Reynolds.
Oh.
You know, honestly, I can't wait to see the back of him. Absolute grub, that one.
Yeah, he is.
We dissect the St. George Dragons. Lomax, absolute shambles. He looked broken at full time. I know he kicked one from the sideline. He missed an easier kick from the sideline.
He made one line break, and then that was about it.
Look, that was just off a loose ball. His defence is in shambles. I think Jake Averillo put 5 line breaks on him.
He did, yeah.
Either drop him to reserve grade because his defence is in shambles. He offered a lot of poor options in attack. He held onto the ball so many times and lost the ball. Or move him back to his preferred right side. Because last season on that right side, Lomax was literally a brick wall.
Yeah, he was palming everyone.
He was palming everyone off and offloading with his right. Sully excels on the left side as well.
Yep.
Put him back there.
Yeah, they need to, yeah.
You know, I just think either drop Lomax to the reserves or put him on his favourite right side. I got a worrying feeling this is Hook's last game in charge.
I think Lomax is going to ask for a release. I'm just guessing. I'm not saying it's news. I just feel like he's probably not happy there.
I don't think he'll have to.
Yeah, I think so. You reckon he'll win a premiership? What if he wants to win a
I've got a
ring?
feeling Hooks has probably coached his last game.
Seriously?
Yeah. Look, another player I've got to be critical of is Ben Hunt. I know everyone's been critical of his last options in the dying minutes because that literally the last 4 games they've lost by a try or less or 2 points.
Yeah,
or
not much.
Goal, whatever it is. But don't worry about that. It's that whole 78 minutes before. A lot of poor 4th and 5th tackle options.
Yeah, a lot.
Haven't been scoring much tries. I mean, you don't go lose 4. No one cares that you lost 4 close games. It means 0 points. You don't get points for losing close games.
Yeah.
Not in the current point structure of the NRL. They're not scoring enough tries. I think Hook's either got to chance his arm and move him into the 9. He's got to put Sullivan at the 7. Little will probably have to start off the bench. Or Little starting at 9, because again, Jacob Little was on the bench. Mbai, either have him in your utility or throw him on the wing, or don't have him in your 17. And then you either have Sullivan on the bench or you have Amon on the bench because you need to spark up the attack.
You're naming those players. They sound like a solid squad. Those players.
No, look, I still reckon Hook's lacking some good front rowers. I've been highly critical of that. I mean, every week I see Blake Laurie absolutely get towered up or absolutely smashed by some forward. I mean, this time Tavita Pangai absolutely walloped him, and I felt that hit. That hurt me.
Oh, did it?
Every week, every time I see Blake Laurie get hit, I feel the hit. I think every fan feels it. I know it gives you 100%, but he doesn't really bend the line.
No, he doesn't.
I'm
At
sure
least he gives up 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's just our front row is just very ordinary. I know they're missing Jaden Saw and maybe 1 or 2 other forwards, and how slow is the St George backline? Besides Tyrell Sloan, that Canterbury backline was absolutely burning him. I mean, I know you had the Finney twins on the wing, but they're actually both centres.
Yeah,
and they
both
probably end
centres,
up being forwards. Lomax is slow. I think he had 5 or 6 players chase him down. And the other player, Sully, he's not quick either.
No, they're not quick.
It's just ridiculous. I got a feeling the hooker for St George is probably the second quickest player on the side.
Yeah,
that's very, very slow.
Even the front row could be the fastest player.
They could be quicker than I wouldn't be surprised Jack DeBellin's quicker than a few of them. But they've got to do something about the speed. It's just ridiculous. Canterbury put in a few short kicks a few times.
Yeah.
Got there first, and then somehow the bounce either didn't go their way or they fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Canterbury could have easily hit 40 points in this game.
They
should have.
They should have, yeah.
That's just alarm bells ringing. Canterbury is literally missing 10 players plus and still wallop the Dragons. Don't be fooled by the scoreline. Head's got a roll now. It's very concerning.
Very.
Anyway, that wraps up the round. A lot of soul searching for the Dragons club.
There is one question.
Yep.
What do you think Elmo will be saying about this game?
I think Elmo now is on cloud 9 that he's probably looking to extend the trip for another week.
He's probably floating on it.
Yeah, he's floating now. He's floating. I think he's Osaka at the moment.
Osaka,
I think he went to Universal Studios or something.
Yeah, I saw his
he's
pressing a lot since the Dogs won, I think.
Yeah, he's just on cloud 9 at the moment. So
he's loving it.
Anyways, few points to discuss this round. The sin bins.
There's a lot of sin bins lately.
A lot of sin bins. A lot of controversy of whether there was overreactions or. Honestly, I think I know they make excuses as to why it was a sin bin, but the majority feel it's an overreaction. Even rugby union started mocking us and calling us out to play our side versus their best side.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and someone from the AAU came out. So I know everyone was saying, "Who the hell is this guy?" But the fact that unions now come out throwing punches at us.
Wow.
It's not meant to be a soft game.
It's not meant to be.
Yes, stamp out the high shots. Yes, stamp out the illegal plays. But any overreactions and incidents that...
Do you think they should bring back the 2 ref?
No.
You like the
one ref? It's just that it's not the ref's fault here. Yeah. It's how they've been dictated that they don't even know what they're doing anymore. There was an embarrassing situation in the West Tigers Penrith game. Cleary goes to kick the ball. And then the West Tigers player got penalised for putting him in a dangerous position. And Carousel absolutely embarrassed the referee. If you
Yeah.
watch that and he listened to the audio, he absolutely embarrassed the referee. He's like, "Oh, I'm challenging," and he starts laughing at him. He goes, "Ha ha!" Like if you listen to it, and he goes, "Our players got his hands on Cleary before he's even kicked the ball." And lo and behold, and thank you, video ref, for looking at it and spewing common sense. Cleary, the defensive player made contact with Cleary before he even kicked the ball.
Yep.
So he's managed to attack him as he's kicking the ball. And the video ref said as it is and said it's
Still
not a
in
penalty.
motion, yeah.
So it was a play the ball for the West Tigers and common sense prevailed.
Yep.
And then, for players not to have any confidence in the ref after that, it was very embarrassing for the ref as well, because what do you need a video ref for that?
It's very stupid call. Apparently, you can't.
He
touch
said he
Nathan
was late or he put him in a danger. Well, what's a dangerous position? I'm just making a tackle.
Cleary. Or maybe you can't touch
And
Nathan Cleary.
he made contact with him before he even kicked the ball.
Yeah.
So there is overreaction, and I'll tell you, it's the stakeholders and the ref's boss all to blame for this. They're making the referees look worse and worse. And I know Andrew Abdo came out today and he was addressing the whole situation about hip drops and that. But the NRL needs to own this sooner rather than later and give a definitive explanation about what constitutes and what doesn't constitute a sin bin, a hip drop, and you name it. Because some hip drops are absolutely unavoidable, especially defending on the defensive line. Like, how do you stop this?
I have no. It's up to them. I think
It's
you're
not like
actually
players.
right,
It's not like players are definitely trying to injure the player.
yeah.
I think hip drops should only be illegal if it's already two players in the tackle or one player, and it's unnecessary. It's like on a try line, like the Payne Haas incident. Regan Campbell-Gillard's about to try. Payne Haas is just trying to grab him and then falls off and it drags him down. And the try line was right there. He stopped him, and then got pinged for a hip drop and and suspended. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, Regan he's injured for about 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it is. But it's incidents like that are unavoidable.
Yeah, a lot of them are unavoidable.
It's a tough situation. Hopefully they do get there. West Tigers, first win of the year. They're off. They're off and running. It looks like they are going to win a lot more games, I reckon.
What a game to win, though. Like, what a game to win against Penrith Panthers, 2-time premiership. What a game to come back and win.
I'll tell you what.
I was so happy.
And it goes on to our next point. I guess who they got in Magic Round?
Who?
The St. George Illawarra Dragons,
Wow.
who are coming off a loss against a reserve grade side, who were playing away from home, who weren't getting the rub of the green from the referee, who were playing with 12 men at one stage as well. I reckon West Tigers are on a high here. They should go back-to-back against the Dragons.
You think so?
Oh, definitely. I can't see why they wouldn't. I know Ben Hunt was filthy at half-time, but sorry, mate. I know your forwards offered no punch. Well, a lot of it's down to you as well, the options and the organisation you're giving. And he hasn't really conducted himself well in the last month either. To the media,
really.
I know the club pulled him up on it. Another thing, Vegas might not go ahead. I think Cronulla Sharks have iterated to the NRL. They're not keen.
On going to Vegas?
Vegas, I think they were also complaining about, besides the whole logistics of things, about a 28-hour flight turnaround, which is probably what it does take from here to there and back. So we'll see what happens. Jack Whiten, it looks like Dustin done and dusted. I can't see any 11th hour
change.
I know him and Ricky were both crying to the cameras, but and then Flanagan, he was put in the reserves, played at hooker, had a good game at hooker.
Yeah, I heard he played.
The talk of him going out to Manly, but then there was a retraction right after that. So we'll see how that plays out. Another talking point is Walker. Sam Walker of the Roosters. I know Corey Parker today was saying he reckons it's his last game.
Yeah.
He's a starting half. Normally when starting halves get punted to the reserves, especially at the Roosters, they never see their way back into first, especially when Manu and Kiri are playing. He reckons that's his last game, albeit unless injuries come through. And the fact that the family's not happy either. Could end up back at Brisbane. I know Canterbury are short on a chief playmaker. Maybe Canterbury put up the feelers for Walker.
That'll be a great signing if Canterbury could get him. Yeah,
we could end up at his father's former club.
Wouldn't that be good?
But I think, or even Gold Coast. Well, I wouldn't want him to go to Gold Coast.
No, I wouldn't.
Disgusting.
Probably
club.
stay here. Yeah.
Party strip. That's how I see it anyway. Anyways, round 10, Magic Round. I don't know why they call it Magic
Where
Round.
they're playing this, all in Brisbane again?
Yeah, all in Brisbane again. Man, take it somewhere else next year. Stop making it in Brisbane. Getting fed up of the place. You've had it there, I think, 3 years in a row. Take it to either New Zealand or either Melbourne or Western Australia.
Yeah, somewhere different.
Take it somewhere. I mean, if Papua New Guinea had a state-of-the-art stadium, I'd take it there.
Yeah, probably would.
Yeah, but I think this one should go to New Zealand next year.
You reckon?
Yeah, either there or you got Melbourne, or you got Perth, or you got South Australia. You know, honestly, they should be the next 4. That's where you should go for the next 4 years
That's a
straight.
good idea. Yeah.
One of those, just between them 4. And then Brisbane can have it the year after that.
Yeah, after that.
Don't bother having it in Sydney. Seriously, I don't want to see the same heads every week.
No.
Or on that whole round, basically,
that
for
would
3
be
days
ridiculous.
straight. All right, Magic Round. So, 5th of the 5th. Some call this a lucky. I know Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, used to always have his fights on 5th of the 5th. It was blockbuster fights. For him, it was a lucky number. On the 5th of the 5th, we got 2 games. We got no game on a Thursday. So the first game of the round is the Bulldogs, who are on 13th, 2 points outside the 8, versus the Canberra Raiders, currently sitting on 11th. 6 o'clock Friday. How do you see this one going? On a turf at Suncorp that hasn't been broken up yet from being overplayed at.
I think Canberra will go home with this.
Canberra?
Yeah. Bulldogs don't have their strong side. I think Canberra will come home.
You don't think Bulldogs will be buoyed from a encouraging win today, or do you think they're just playing
I'm not gonna lie to
garbage?
you. If Bulldogs play the way they played today, up in Suncorp, there's no way Canberra will come and run through it.
So they're up against a garbage Dragons side who probably would struggle against a low table ladder reserve grade
Reserve
side.
grade side, yeah.
So you reckon Canberra will get the Dogs?
I actually think so, yeah. I actually do.
By how much you reckon?
I think by a try, or probably just a bit more than a try, but I honestly think that Canberra will come home with the win.
Well, I reckon Canberra. I know they've gone back to back.
Yeah.
Or was it 3 in a row now? I think
2 in a row now. Yeah.
I think Canberra's gone 3 in a row. They're going to turn in a stinker. Canterbury's going to be buoyed by the win against the Dragons. They've had some encouraging performances last few weeks.
And also, Wyden's going to have a point to prove this whole year. And if Ricky's crying like that, Ricky's going to put his best side in.
I'm going to go Canterbury by 6.
Oh, wow.
I'm just trying to put the evil eye on Canterbury so they don't win the next 11 weeks. That's one's for you, Finch. Next game we got on a Friday, 8 o'clock. The 6th position now, Manly Sea Eagles against the first place Brisbane Broncos. Both sides coming off a loss. Both sides should be getting their big guns back. Turbo back for Manly. Broncos get back Payne Haas and Ezra Amam.
Yep.
I know it's been listed as a Brisbane away game, but it's actually a home game. How do you see this one going?
Broncos will win.
How much
Home game, all the players back. Manly, not that strong in the middle, but Broncos will win.
What's your tip?
I think they'll win by 12.
I'm going to go by 12. You hit the magic number. I think Payne Haas is going to go roughshod on the Manly forwards, especially after that 26-point loss against South. I think they'll be livid. They've got a point to prove.
They do, yep.
I think our thoroughbred in Herbie Farnworth got a big point to prove as well.
He does, yep.
I think he's going to score a hat-trick. Don't let me down, Herbie.
How's Walsh been playing? He's been playing.
He had a quiet game. Understandably slow. That South Sydney team, and when Tatola comes back, those forwards, him and Burgess just become the Bash brothers.
Yeah, just...
and Latrell Mitchell, he's a whole side himself. That's how I see it anyway.
He's the whole side.
The Warriors, I know they're down on troops. 8th position. Can you believe it? Play the 7th place Penrith on a Saturday. 7th place Penrith. That sounds a bit strange, especially the last 3 years.
Yeah, they've been top 4 the last 3 years.
I think they're losing. I know they're missing a lot of their forwards against West Tigers.
Do you still think they'll win this year?
Look, in previous years, generally sides haven't recovered. They still got a lot of class, Penrith. I don't know. We'll see. It's probably good it's happening to them now, not towards the back end of the year. Because if it happened to them back end of the year, then you say they're gone. It's 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Warriors are still down on troops. Penrith, I think, get back a couple of troops. How do you see this one?
I think Penrith will just annihilate Warriors. I think Penrith, they're going to come back strong. Got a point to prove, a big point to prove after losing against the lowest team on the ladder. But I think they'll come back.
Look, I'll just say one thing. I think the Warriors got some of the greatest fans in the game. I saw some Warriors fan holding up a bin today saying, Radley, get in. They are so creative, these Warriors fans. Another reason why Magic Round should also go to New Zealand. I reckon have it go there next year.
Yeah, they got some big fans there.
Look, I'm going to go... Warriors always, look, under Johnson this year, they've been playing with a lot of
Johnson's been playing amazing lately.
the whole side's been playing with confidence.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of young blood coming through, and they also play with confidence. I'm going to go the Panthers by 8.
Yeah.
Not a big difference, but I just think the Warriors are missing too many troops at the moment in the forwards.
Yeah, I agree.
Jastavanga, Tohu Harris, just to name a few.
Tohu Harris,
And Panthers get back a few. The next game we got is the high-flying Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, currently sitting in second against the enigmatic Redcliffe Dolphins. They give you 2 halves of football, can produce the win against the top sides. 5:30 on a Saturday. I don't think Dolphins have a big enough supporter base yet to have the home crowd effect. How do you see this one going?
Dolphins are going to win this game, period.
How much you see them going by?
I think Dolphins will come back, and I think they will just win by, I think, close to about 2 tries. I think they'll win. They got a big point to prove. And Wayne Bennett, the second half, if they keep playing like that, the second half, as same as the first half, I think they'll win. I honestly think so.
You don't think Cronulla's forward pack's probably got too much depth at the moment for Redcliffe's forwards?
No, I think Redcliffe's got a strong forward pack.
I think Redcliffe.
Come on, you can't say that.
Look, I'm going to go Cronulla.
You reckon?
I wanted to go Dolphins, but I've changed it. I'm going to go Cronulla 10. I think
You were going to go Dolphins, now you changed it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit unfair to tip against Cronulla. They got some classy players, an extensive forward pack, not many injuries at the moment, not missing really anyone.
Cronulla second, wow. They've had some tough loss. And they're second, wow.
Next game, blockbuster game, probably match of the round. The Melbourne Storm, who are coming off a bye, full of rest, against the third place and rapidly improving South Sydney Rabbitohs. 17:45 Saturday night. Expect the ratings to be through the roof. Expect a packed stadium. How do you see this one going?
Rabbitohs, I think Rabbitohs, they're just playing amazing footy lately. Melbourne coming off a bye, they're fresh, but Rabbitohs, they're just hunting for this premiership, but I think they'll come off with the win.
I think the Rabbitohs will turn up. It's the second week they play at Suncorp. I think they're going to be too much for the Melbourne Storm. I know Melbourne's got some extremely classy players in Nelson Osafa Solomona, who is a whole forward pack himself, and Cameron Munster. And
Munster has been playing to his full potential lately.
They just got a great side. You can never discount them. They're in my 8. I think I still have them about 6th or 5th.
Yeah, I think they'll be top 8 for sure.
I think Souths, as long as they don't party too hard in Brisbane, should win this game, in my opinion, by 14 points. How do you see this one going?
I think Souths by 12 points, 2 tries, yeah.
I got a big Melbourne fan at home, Z, who will watch this, will absolutely bombard me with abuse for tipping Souths by 14.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see how this one goes. Sunday, 1:50, the 17th place, a rapidly improving and premiership beaters, the West Tigers, versus the lowly St. George Illawarra Dragons in 15th place. I'm going to keep referring to them as St. George Illawarra with the way they're playing, because the St. George Dragons would never give you a performance like that. These performances are more synonymous with the Illawarra Steelers. So hate me or love me, I'm going to call you St. George Illawarra. 15th versus 17th. How do you see this one going?
Tigers will win.
I think Jaden Saw will be back for the Dragons. Tigers are playing full of confidence. They'll get an early roll on. I got the Tigers winning this by 4. How much do you see this one?
I see Tigers winning by plus 13. I think they got a big boost since last week, and they got a lot of confidence now. Tim Sheens are going to give it to them. I think Tigers are going to win this game.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, if Hook hasn't coached his last game against Canterbury, if he doesn't win this game, I think this will be his last game.
I agree.
You don't lose to 2 lowly sides with your job in the air and expect to survive.
No.
All right, home stretch. We got a 4:00 game. The 5th place Sydney Roosters versus the. I look at this side and they're 16th, especially after the season they gave us last year. The Cowboys, 4:00 on a Sunday. I mean, do you turn your season around now, North Queensland, or what do you do?
Is that on Channel 9 or?
It's on Channel 9. Yes.
I was just asking.
Sorry, apologies. Yes, it is on Channel 9.
Just in case it's on Chad Townsend's YouTube vlog, apparently he vlogs the whole thing.
Look, I can't see this going on much longer. Todd Payton, I think he'll act sooner rather than later. If Chad Townsend...
You think he'll go?
I think he's going to shake up the attack. He has to.
Yeah. Wow.
He has to, and he might have to promote some of those young
forwards. Tom Malolo back? Apparently he's gone.
Look, it's you know what? It's not so much as their forwards. It's their bench has been really weak as well. He's not offering... He needs more forwards on the bench. He's using 35-year-old James Tarmo and 35-year-old Jake Granville, who we all thought retired 3 years ago, on that bench.
Wow.
Like, if you're going to use players that are playing part-time, then don't use them.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it.
There's plenty of other players in the Queensland Cup who want that opportunity.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, if not in the Queensland Cup, you got players in the New South Wales Cup.
Yep.
You know,
That
just
are
need
ready
that
to come
chance. Go get them. Stop using me these part-timers, former first graders.
And
You
they still
know,
wanna
just
get-
looking for a swan song, but I ain't going to give you more than 10 or 15
10 or
effective
15.
minutes at full pelt. Anyway, how do you see this one going?
Oh, Reese's were absolutely not at Cowboys.
I'm going to go Roosters by 18th. I think Joey Mona's going to run right on them.
Yeah.
How much?
I
you
think
got?
Roosters are going to win, I think, 40 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Didn't you say Penrith by 50 last week?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry I brought this one up.
I did. I think Roosters are going to win this one.
Anyway, last game to wrap it up. The 10th placed Gold Coast Titans, who have actually surprised everyone being that high up the ladder, versus the ever-improving and ever-rising Parramatta Eels at 6:25 on a Sunday. How do you got this one?
Titans.
You going to go Gold Coast?
Gold Coast are going to. Mitchell Moses on the Magic rounds the last past.
I think
season.
Parramatta will be buoyed by that win, 43-12. They got their attack, got some traction.
You think Parra win?
I think Parra will get them by 8.
I think Titans will get them by probably about 6. I'll try.
Yeah, I got Parramatta winning this one. Newcastle got the bye. Their fans were livid, but as every other,
Wow.
all the NRL fans were united of the other 16 clubs saying, well, no one would want to watch Newcastle anyway up in Brisbane. It was either them or the West Tigers.
That's very sad.
Anyways, I got Parramatta winning by 8. So, yeah, that wraps up the round. Tell us your thoughts. If you want to rub it in about the Dragons getting pummeled by Canterbury, by all means. If you want to see me wear blue and white Canterbury jersey on the next episode, let us know in your comments section. Yeah, look, I was at, I don't know what to say. I wanted to sign off, but I went to Belmore right after the game just to go have a burger at the local.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I went to Burger Hustle.
Okay.
That place is actually owned and run by a former Newtown Jets and Lebanese international Ahmed Elas.
Yep.
His burgers are fantastic.
He's a great.
And I went to a coffee joint there, but the locals were just driving up and down the strip and out and about, and they were buzzing. Look what a win does for your locals.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that was brilliant. You know, it's good when your local side wins.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
But you're not a Dogs fan, aren't you?
Not a Dogs fan. We used to experience that down at Cogra when St George would play there, I think 12 or 13 times a season before they decided to go into a joint venture with the Win, as I call them now, Win Entertainment or whatever you want to call them. You know, we've lost that sense of locality.
Mm.
I mean, I still question why we had to merge. It feels like the club culture's been eroded completely.
He has.
You know, you can say it's a somber mood over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think I tried to drown myself in the showers after that game.
Tonight's game?
It was debilitating. It's not like they lost a close game
Yeah.
because it was not close. I think from the get-go, you could just see the Canterbury club on the ball. St George got ahead of themselves. Oh, we had a great second half against the Roosters in the Anzac Day match.
And that was it.
Well, lo and behold, St George always played great in the Anzac Day game.
Mm.
You know, Elmo, I think he messaged me today or was it yesterday? And he was expecting his side to be pummeled. And I go, listen, he goes, but the Dragons were great against the Roosters. I go, listen, Elmo, when you got a higher opposition and a game that means more, which is an Anzac Day game, the players are going to aim higher. They're going to be more motivated and produce more. When you come against a team that's low on the ladder and missing 10 players, you know, it's a hard game.
It is a very hard game.
You're not going to approach the game the same way you're going to approach a team coming fifth, noted perennial premiership contenders on an Anzac Day match that means so much to everyone. Okay, this is going to be a really, really hard game for the Dragons. And Elmo will confirm that I actually met. He can probably send a screenshot exactly those comments I said.
Probably could, yeah.
You know, and Canterbury Bulldogs. Canterbury. I think they're going to finish higher than the Dragons on the ladder now.
I think that.
Well done, Canterbury. And that concludes the 10th edition of the Kennel NRL podcast. And look, just before we go, we are having a couple of Canterbury players coming on in the next few weeks. Stay tuned. We will have them in the promo. One of them is an absolute superstar for them. So we will let you know when he's coming on. Adios.